Hey guys, Desolator Magic here, and a new-ish product has been announced today. It's the next version of the Signature Spellbook. It's basically the unofficial successor to From the Vault, and it's a huge improvement in some ways and a massive unimprovement in others. So a lot of people love it, a lot of people hate it, but they did announce that this will be an ongoing series and that each one will feature one Planeswalker, especially Gatewatch members. So people thought it's either going to be Gideon, Chandra, or Liliana, and this time it's Gideon, in honor of him dying in the storyline. I guess. I don't know if this is an internet thing or if Wizards actually said that, but whatever. So the card selection is either really good or really questionable, depending upon which way you want to look at it. First up, we've got Gideon Jarrah from M12 and Rise of the Eldrazi, so we're going back quite a ways. And he's a 6 loyalty for 5, +2 during target opponent's next turn. Creatures that player controls attack Gideon Jarrah if able. Very unique Gideon ability. -2, destroy target tapped creature, fantastic, and 0, until end of turn, Gideon Jarrah becomes a 6/6 human soldier creature that's still a planeswalker, prevent all damage that would be dealt to him this turn, but not indestructible. So this is definitely one of the more powerful Gideons we've seen. Powerful versus useful at the time in the standard meta, and popularity and price in formats past standard. That's where it gets a little questionable. But I think the best way to sum it up is he costs 5, which is a little high for Gideon, but he's incredibly powerful. Unfortunately, the cheapest version right now, I believe, is M12, and he's $2.50. Ouch. Now next up, we've got Martyrs Bond, which was only ever printed in a Commander set, has absolutely nothing to do with Gideon, and it's a $12 card currently. It's a 6-cost enchantment, and whenever Martyrs Bond or another non-land permanent you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, each opponent sacrifices a permanent that shares a card type with it. Oh, pure karma. I mean, absolutely worth every single bit of that 6 mana, but 6 mana does affect the playability. So I guess it's fitting with the current Gideon storyline, and the flavor text is 1 life at a time. That is how the world will be saved. By the way, look how close that letter A is to the border. The padding, as they call it on the text, is outrageous. The edge rendering style is terrible. The font is terrible. Those mana symbols on top, the spokes of the sun thing, are way too close to the border. For the title of the card, they put white on gray. I mean, this entire design is a dumpster fire. And by the way, one of my degrees is partially in graphics design, where we learned all about this, and the other half of the degree is in web design. So padding, alignment, contrast, readability, just everything. They broke everything on this card. It doesn't look good. The style doesn't look good. I mean, the color and the textures look totally on point. The different frame, kind of cool. But everything else is, just an absolute mess. These actually look like really, not even counterfeits, but like really bad fan-made cards, where they just didn't give a crap about the alignment, the font choice, anything. So anyway, mini rant over. Next up, Path to Exile, which is back up to a $12 card. I'm surprised that thing was really low at a couple points. It's been printed to death in like 10 different sets. Once again, the card has nothing to do with Gideon, but it also kind of has nothing to do with anything. The artwork is him stabbing, who's that, Razaketh? No, Belzenlock. And, okay, I guess you exile people with it. I mean, it really messed him up. It didn't just kill him, it like super killed him, so, okay. So next up, Rest in Peace. I mean, once again, the card has nothing to do with Gideon. It was in Return to Ravnica and Masters 25, and it's a statue of him. He just died. Like, okay, some of these are a little bit more on the nose than others. But I will say, since this is only printed twice, it's still a $13 card. I think when M25 came out, it was like $18. And the reason is because it's a 2-cost enchantment that says, when it enters the battlefield, exile all cards from all graveyards, and if a card or token would be put into a graveyard from anywhere, exile it instead. That is powerful. That absolutely shuts down entire deck archetypes. So yeah, I could see why this would be very valuable. Next up, we got Shielded by Faith. It's a 3-cost enchantment aura, and it was in Explorers of Ixalan, which I believe was the board game, and some commander set, and that's it, and none of them have anything to do with Gideon. Gideon never actually visited Ixalan. Oh, you're going to see a pattern in these card choices, trust me. And honestly, I don't know how his shield works, so maybe this might be a little bit more spot on. I thought it was just something that happened because he became a planeswalker. Anyway, It's a 3 cost or a double white, and enchant creature. Enchanted creature is indestructible, very nice. And whenever a creature enters the battlefield, you may attach Shielded by Faith to that creature, but not on a death trigger. But the creature is indestructible, so you're just pretty much upgrading it to a better, more important creature at that point. So this is actually a $2.50 card, believe it or not. Just because of the print volume, I expect that to crash pretty good after this product goes out. Next up, True Conviction, which is from a Commander set, and Scars of Mirrodin, neither of which I suspect included Gideon. But he had a lot of conviction, which he completely used to replace any kind of strategy or logic. It's a 6 cost with triple white in the cost, so ultimate white enchantment here. And creatures you control have double strike and lifelink, so very white. Unbelievably powerful, but 6 is up there. But yeah, people play with it, and it's still an expensive card. Next up, the famous card, Worship. This was printed in tons of sets, I think like 7th, 8th, and 9th edition, and a couple of the really early ones. Cheapest one I could find is about $7. And it's a 4 cost enchantment that says, if you control a creature, then damage that would reduce your life total to less than 1 reduces it to 1 instead. And yeah, Gideon really liked gods and stuff, so I guess it fits, but once again, the card predates even him in the story. Not too much of a stretch, but really none of these, not a single one, is specifically Gideon related so far, except the final one. And that is Blackblade Reforged, which that does not appear to be Gideon. That appears to be Exodia from Yu-Gi-Oh! And this is the weapon directly used twice by Gideon in the storyline. It's the most Gideon card out there. I assume that's a picture of the Blackblade being reforged. I don't remember who did that. I assume that's who's being pictured, but it's his spellbook. Have him waving it around or trying to stab Bolus in the face with it or something. This is just odd. Well, anyway, it's a $1.30 card, which is a shame. It never really took off because of that legendary requirement, I guess. It's one of my all-time favorite cards from Dominaria. I love it, but unless you're playing a Marwyn deck, this just doesn't see play, which is just a shame because it's so powerful. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 for each land you control and only costs 2 to drop in, and then you can equip it to a legendary creature for 3 or a regular creature for 7. Honestly, the entire block of Dominaria didn't really take off in the standard meta, so that's a shame. So if you add them all up, you get $54.29, but you get one of the cards in foil. Theoretically, that should add another $8 to $10 to that value. So you're looking at like 60 and change? And the MSRP, oops, did I just say MSRP? But let's not kid ourselves. The MSRP is $19.99. So insane value. A lot of these are very low print volume, older cards that have been valuable for a while. I think it's a great purchase value-wise. And if you're a fan of Gideon, it's a pretty good purchase. I mean, none of the cards had anything to do with them at all, basically. But he's in most of them, except for the one that does have to do with them. Once again, unusual choice there. So will everybody be rushing to get these off the shelves? I would say yes, but the first time around, people were going nuts over these. These were going pretty high on eBay, I think into the 30s. But that's because it was new product, nobody really knew about it, and it was supposed to be like from the vault. So people were comparing it to that print volume. And all the stores I looked at were limiting it to 1 per customer. Some were requiring pre-orders. I mean, it was getting nuts. Despite all the bad press from whiners on Reddit that said, I don't like this change, wah. I mean, I didn't like that they weren't all foil, and I didn't like that you didn't know which foil you were going to get, so it added variance, which made you want to buy more than one, which is obviously a manipulative trick on Wizards' part. Not a fan of that, but I will say that about 2-3 weeks later, there were still spellbooks in stock at every store I talked to. The price started to go back down to normal on eBay, like $23-24. And it never really recovered. There's only 2 listed on eBay right now that I can see. 3 maybe. And they're $25 and $30. And then one, it might have been international, was like $33. So I wouldn't really call that a good investment. But they put some really weak low value cards in it. So this time around, this is like a miniature, Masters set. So this is some heat. I could see people buying up 10 of these and just sitting on them and being absolutely confident that it's going to go up over time. And I would say, yeah, that's a pretty safe bet. Especially with Modern Masters or anything Masters getting canceled, even though they basically brought it back and just called it Horizons. Which sounds like a drug rehab place. Maybe I'll have to go visit Horizons because of my crippling addiction to memes. Well, I will say that no matter what, for a fairly low price, I mean, 20 bucks is like not bad. I mean, individual cards cost 20 bucks in some cases. You get a collector's edition that no matter what the value is, you can put them in a full binder page and be like, here's my awesome, collection because I'm a fan of Gideon and Planeswalkers and collectibles. On the fun and approachable and reasonable scale compared to like Mythic Edition, where you're paying like 250 bucks for 8 cards, yeah, this is about an 11 out of 10 compared to that. Not like you can't get a resale value from that set. I'm just saying, like, this is the everyman's collectible right here. Hopefully they rein in the print volume a little bit, but if they do, if they really make it like short and valuable due to shortages instead of valuable due to like what's in it, contents, future value estimations, whatever, that's just going to keep it out of the hands of people who want it, and people are going to buy multiple at a time, and they're going to sell them online instead of locally because they can get more, and all this greedy crap that happens every time that something's worth money, basically. So this time around, I know it's going to harm the resale value, but just for the people, for the players, for the fans of Gideon, and the people who just want to show up to the store and buy this, I hope they keep it at a fairly high print volume. That would be nice. So what do you guys think? Will you pick it up? Will you not? Do you think it's a good investment? Are you going to buy one for yourself, or are you going to buy 10 and sit on them? What are you going to do? Let me know down in the comment section. I will see you guys next video.